Hello, welcome to Chemistry Cubicle. This is the another video on the chemical properties of alkyl halides. I have already discussed the nucleophilic substitution reaction in the previous video, and if you haven't watched that video then please go and watch that video. Otherwise you will be facing some difficulties in this video. Okay, now let's come to the topic. The second chemical property is elimination reaction, and more particularly we will be talking about the dehydrohalogenation. It means the removal of hydrogen and halogen from the same molecule. Okay, so now in this reaction what will happen? Let us suppose that it is our haloalkane. Okay, now what will happen when this haloalkane is treated with the alcoholic solution of the potassium hydroxide, that is KOH? This will be alcoholic. Okay, now what will happen when this haloalkane is treated with the alcoholic solution of the KOH? Then the hydrogen will be eliminated from the beta carbon. Now what is beta carbon? Let us take an example. Let's suppose this will be any functional group, and in this case it will be halogen. Okay, so the carbon atom with which the functional group is directly attached, okay, the carbon atom with which the functional group is directly attached is known as alpha carbon atom, and the carbon atom next to the carbon atom, okay, the carbon atom next to the carbon atom with which the functional group is directly attached is known as beta carbon atom. Okay, so in this case this carbon will be beta carbon and this carbon will be alpha carbon. Okay, so what will happen when this haloalkane is treated with the alcoholic solution of the KOH? Then hydrogen will be eliminated from this beta carbon and the halogen will be eliminated from this alpha carbon atom, and it leads to the formation of alkene. Okay, so what will be formed? The alkene will be our product, and byproduct will be KBr plus water. Okay, so this is the dehydrohalogenation. Since the hydrogen atom will be lost from the beta carbon atom, okay, this hydrogen is eliminating from this beta carbon atom, so this whole reaction is often termed as beta elimination reaction. Okay, what will be it called? Beta elimination reaction. Okay, now remember students, I had told you that when haloalkane is treated with the aqueous KOH, okay, not alcoholic, when haloalkane is treated with the aqueous KOH, then what will happen? This is RX plus KOH. Okay, this is aqueous. Then what will happen? It will be the case of normal substitution, nucleophilic substitution reaction, and simply ROH will be formed as the product and this will be KX. Okay, so why when we using the KOH with alcoholic, okay, in the alcoholic medium, then why the KOH in alcoholic medium leads to the elimination reaction, and why when we are using this in aqueous state then it will be the case of nucleophilic substitution reaction. Okay, this will be this I am tell you with the help of the mechanism. Now coming on to the mechanism, when we use alcoholic KOH, then what will happen? This is our KOH. Okay, this is ethanol. Then what will happen? It will lead to the formation of potassium alkoxide, that is CH3 CH2, this is O minus and K plus. Okay, so this is potassium alkoxide and water will be released. So what will happen? This alkoxide ion, that is CH3 CH2 O minus, this alkoxide ion is more basic than our OH minus ion. Okay, this alkoxide ion is more basic than our OH minus ion, and hence it can easily abstract a proton from the beta carbon. Okay, it can easily abstract a proton from a beta carbon, and hence it leads to the elimination reaction, that is dehydrohalogenation. Hence what will happen? This was our compound, okay, this was our reactant, and this is the ethoxide ion. Okay, CH3 CH2 O minus. Okay, this will abstract a proton from the beta carbon. Okay, this will abstract a proton from the beta carbon, and what will happen, this bond will comes here, and for satisfying the valency this halogen leaves. Okay, so what will happen, it will become just like CH2 double bond CH2 plus KBr, and alkene is formed as a product, and H2 is also released as a byproduct. Okay, now if different types of beta hydrogens are present in the same compound, then what will happen, for example in this 2-bromopropene there are 2 beta hydrogen atoms. Okay, this is also beta and this is also beta. Let's suppose this is beta 2 and let's suppose this is beta 1. Okay, when elimination or the hydrogen is abstracting from this beta 2 carbon atom, then what will be the product, CH3 CH2 CH double bond CH2. Okay, and when the hydrogen is abstracting from this beta 1 carbon atom, then what will happen, CH3 CH double bond CH CH3. Okay, so what will happen, if the hydrogen is eliminated from the beta 2 carbon atom, then this will be formed as the product, and this will be our minor product. Okay, and this will be our major product. Okay, its concentration is near to 80% and it is 20%. Now why this is major product, because the alkene which is highly substituted, okay, the alkene which is highly substituted will be our major product because it has more number of hyperconjugating steps. Okay, the alkene which is highly substituted, okay, it will be our major product. So according to Sergev also, he said that the alkene which is highly substituted, or the alkene to which the doubly bonded carbon atom contains the least number of hydrogen atom. As we can see that from these two products, these two carbon atoms have more number of doubly bonded carbon atoms have more number of hydrogen atoms than this. So according to Sergev, the more substituted alkene, or the alkene in which the doubly bonded carbon atom have least hydrogen atoms, okay, have least hydrogen, will be our major product. Okay, now if we talk about the ease of dehydrohalogenation, and if we talk about the 1 degree alkyl halide, now the product alkene will be unsubstituted. Okay, it will be unsubstituted alkene. And if we talk about the secondary alkyl halide, the product alkene will be monosubstituted. Okay, it will be monosubstituted. And if we talk about the tertiary alkyl halide, then the product alkene will be disubstituted. Okay, disubstituted alkene. So greater or highly the substituted alkene, more easily it will undergo the dehydrohalogenation. Okay, the highly the substituted alkene, more easily it will undergo dehydrohalogenation. So it follows the order tertiary. Tertiary will undergo the dehydrohalogenation more easily than secondary, and secondary will undergo more easily dehydrohalogenation than primary. So it follows the order tertiary, secondary and primary. And if the alkyl groups are same, okay, if the alkyl groups are same and we are changing the halogen atom, okay, if it is 1 degree, then all the alkyl groups are 1 degree. So if we are changing only the halogen atom, then it follows the order Ri, okay, Rbr and RCl. Now coming on to the third chemical property of the alkyl halide, that is reaction with metal. Now most of the organic chlorides, bromides and iodides, they react with the certain metals to form compounds containing the carbon metal bond. Okay, carbon metal bonds. Such compounds are called organometallic compounds. Okay, what are organometallic compounds? The compounds in which the carbon atom is directly linked to the metal. Okay, now the first one is the reaction with the magnesium. When our haloalkanes react with the magnesium in the presence of dry ether. Okay, when our haloalkanes react with magnesium in the presence of dry ether, they will lead to the formation of alkyl magnesium halide. What will they form? Alkyl magnesium halide. And this is known as Grignard reagent. This alkyl magnesium halides is known as Grignard reagent. Okay, so now what will happen? This is our haloalkene. It reacts with the magnesium turnings in the presence of dry ether. It will lead to the formation of Grignard reagent. Okay, RMgX. So here the carbon atom is directly linked to the metal. So it is known as, it is an organometallic compound. I will cover this whole Grignard reagent in any upcoming video because this is very important topic and it needs to be covered in the separate video. Okay. Now the next is reaction with the sodium metal. Now what will happen when our alkyl halides they react with the sodium metal in the presence of dry ether? It will lead to the formation of symmetrical alkane. It will lead to the formation of symmetrical alkanes. Now the main point of this reaction is to just double the number of carbon atoms. Okay, I will explain you how. That it is our alkyl halide Rx. Let's suppose any alkyl halide. It reacts with the 2 moles of sodium metal, and also this is also 2 moles. It reacts in the presence of dry ether to form corresponding alkane which is symmetrical. Okay, this reaction is known as Wurtz reaction. This reaction is known as Wurtz reaction and it is used to double the number of carbon atom. Double the number of carbon atom. Okay, let us suppose that if we take ethyl chloride, that is CH3CH2Cl, 2 moles plus 2 moles of sodium metal in the presence of dry ether, then what will happen? It's just double the number of carbon atom. Here there are 2 number of carbon atom and so in the product we will get 4, that is butane. CH3, CH2, CH2, CH3, okay, and plus 2 moles of NaCl will be evolved. Okay. Now I will explain you the mechanism of Wurtz reaction. Now what will happen? This is our alkyl halide and this is our metal. Now what happened? This metal will transfer its 1 electron to the halogen atom to produce a metal halide and an alkyl radical. Okay, what will happen? This metal will transfer its 1 electron to this halogen atom and produce a metal halide, that is MX, and an alkyl radical. This will be our alkyl radical. Okay, in the next step what will happen? The alkyl radical then accepts an electron from the another metal atom. Okay, this alkyl radical will accept an electron from the another metal atom and it will produce this Rm. So what happens? Because this is the metal and it is electropositive, so here comes the slightly positive charge or partial positive charge and here comes the partial negative charge. In the last step what will happen? Since we have another molecule of this alkyl halide, okay, now what will happen? This is alkyl halide and this is our Rm. It contains partial negative charge and it contains partial positive charge, and here it contains partial positive and it contains partial negative. So this is the normal nucleophilic substitution reaction in which this migrates or this goes to this and the halogen atom leaves with its bonding pair of electron. Okay, what will happen? The corresponding alkane with just double the number of carbon atom, okay, and MX will be released. So this is the mechanism of Wurtz reaction. Hope you understand. Now, the another chemical property of the haloalkane is reduction. Now, haloalkanes are reduced to the corresponding alkenes. Okay, let us suppose this is the alkyl halide. When it reacts with the hydrogen in the presence of the metal catalyst such as nickel, platinum, and palladium, it reduced to the corresponding alkane. And now this is particularly for iodoalkane. Okay, when it reacts with Hi in the presence of red phosphorus at 420 Kelvin temperature, it reduced to the corresponding alkane and I2 is released. Okay, now the another one is when we dissolve certain metals just like zinc in HCl or in acetic acid, then what will happen? This alkyl halide will reduce to the corresponding alkane. And now the next reduction will be by using the lithium aluminum hydride. Okay, what will happen? This is our alkyl halide, and in the presence of lithium aluminum hydride, it will reduce to the corresponding alkane. Since the hydride ion will be provided from the LiAlH4, okay, now what will happen? This is our alkyl halide. It contains partial positive charge and it contains partial negative charge, and it goes to this, and the halogen atom will be released with its two bonding pair of electron, and it will form RH plus X minus. Okay, so this is the mechanism by using the lithium aluminum hydride. Now, the next chemical property of haloalkane is halogenation. Alkyl halides on treatment with halogen in the presence of light, either light, heat, or catalyst. Okay, it gives di, tetra, or tri, or polysubstituted alkanes. Okay, let us suppose this is chloromethane in the presence of Cl2. In the presence of light, it will form the dichloromethane. Okay, and if dichloromethane is further react with Cl2 and in the presence of sunlight, it will form the trichloromethane. And if trichloromethane is further react with the Cl2 in the presence of sunlight, it will form the tetrachloromethane. So it is di-substituted, it is tri-substituted, and it is tetra-substituted. Okay, this is the halogenation of haloalkane. So this is all about the chemical properties of haloalkane, and with this video the haloalkane is over, and now we will come on haloarenes. Hope you like the video. Thank you.